Hello! Oh, where to begin? So, microcosmic view first. Let's look where the moon is. The moon is in Sagittarius for today of Saturday, and tomorrow it'll be going into Capricorn. So this is quite a difference of days. Saturday we're looking at a lot more fun, upbeat energy, enjoyable, and then late night goes into Capricorn, more serious, more focused, and that's for Sunday. It's kind of actually a perfect thing for Saturday and Sunday, because usually Saturday is a little bit more of the fun, let's go play, let's have enjoyable times, etc., let's go exploring, let's go out, etc. And then Sunday is like more chill, let's work, maybe, depends, but like if we feel like it, let's work on stuff. So that's kind of nice. That works for the kind of the archetypes of what each day is generally speaking anyways for. I think one thing that's good to keep in mind with Moon and Sagittarius, there's a lot of energy to communicate. I mean, obviously that's been there because we have Mars in Gemini. We've had it for about the last month or something like that, maybe 3.5 weeks. But it's being brought out to the foreground with the moon in Sagittarius. So this communication in its best form is positive, constructive, very truthful, but is ultimately helping people to see things more clearly, understand themselves more clearly, have ideas to communicate what they're thinking, etc. What we need to be mindful of, as always, is the unconscious potential for any particular energy. And I think these energies combined, we can find ourselves getting caught up potentially in communication without thinking about it or without thinking of the consequences. Jumping in, saying something, maybe doing something, but more so probably saying and just causing drama. None of that's necessary. I think something that's really helpful here is we have Sun and Venus in Libra. This is the first transit video that I've done since Venus has gone into Libra. It kind of snuck in. I think it's been there for about 2 days now or so. This is lovely. Now, again, there's no such thing as a good or a bad energy. As always, Venus in Virgo, there's beautiful things about this energy. It's a deeply humble energy. It helps us to be very serving of others, to be very selfless. All of these great gifts we've been able to appreciate for the last couple of weeks. It is a rough energy though. Rough energies, we have to kind of work through some challenges. For the last couple weeks, about 2.5, 3 weeks or so, something like that, Venus has been in Virgo, and that energy's challenges are very palpable, of being too hard on ourselves, maybe being too hard on others too, but it all stems from nitpicking ourselves for nitpicking others. Potentially being challenged when it comes to our body image or any kind of physical assessment in general. So there's certainly a lot of smoothness with Venus and Libra that we haven't had, and indeed we've had some certain challenges. So again, it's been great in a lot of ways. We've been able to get stuff done, to figure stuff out, to be very selfless and humble in our connections with others. There's a really great dry sense of humor about Venus and Virgo, but now Venus has gone into Libra, and honestly, this is a smooth energy. So this is helping us out a lot here to be able to connect with other people and just have more energy to connect with other people. Venus in Virgo isn't necessarily the most sociable energy. It can socialize just fine, but it's more focused again on handling work stuff, professional connections, etc. Venus in Libra is one of the consummate socializing energies. And indeed, again, there's no such thing as a good or bad energy. That's its challenge as well. So we want to be mindful of that as per the unconscious potential with Venus in Libra, especially being conjunct Sun in Libra. In particular, because Sun in Libra is also one of those energies that is a bit rough, is focusing too much on socialization. So on the positive side, we have, again, it's a spectrum. We always want to be aiming for the positive side. Positive side of Venus and Sun being conjunct in Libra, incredible conversations, socializing with others, laughter, pleasant, harmonious connections. Even if there is information that's quite cutting or is quite new, ultimately I don't think it's going to be that difficult to harmonize with the information. So how it's delivered is probably pretty smooth. We do have Mercury retrograde, we'll get into that because that could make things a little bit more challenging, but in general there's a lot of goodwill here, a lot of people wanting to connect with other people in positive ways and to help them with information and communication. So that's great. Again, the unconscious challenge is to focus too much on that. Libra energy in general, adding Venus especially, loves connecting with other people, and that's great. the challenge, and again, nothing to be self-conscious of, every energy has gifts and challenges. If we looked at my chart, I could talk for hours about challenges I've had, that I'm dealing with now, in the future, etc. But Libra energy focuses a bit too much on other people, potentially. Again, unconscious challenge here, especially with Venus being involved here. So we want to be balancing out both of these things. To be in true balance, we need to balance self and other. We have to have a good connection with self, being focused on our goals, our gifts, etc. And then socializing with other people. I felt it myself in the last couple of days of like, oh, I want to hang out with my friends. But it's like, no, you need to go play drums, because if you don't play drums, you're going to be all pent up, and then you're like, hanging out with friends is not going to solve anything, It's like, after this video and after doing work earlier today, it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to go hang out with friends. And it'll be really great and it'll be lovely. And that's the best of Libra, is when self is accounted for and taken care of, promoted, empowered, encouraged, etc. All those needs are taken care of. Then balancing out with other people is effortless, and then it's very enjoyable. So that's good to keep in mind for this weekend. Maybe it is a day to more so focus on yourself, as opposed to going out with other people. Or maybe you do that and then you go out with other people. I don't know. Again, it's going to be different for each of us. A major thing to keep in mind here is Mercury still is retrograde. Wow, we're coming into the end of the Mercury retrograde period. It's flown by since Mercury went back into Virgo. There's so much overthinking that we had with Mercury Libra. Yeah, that's nice. We've had Mercury Virgo for the last week or so. And again, like I said, it's a little bit... Mercury retrograde in Libra is overthinking to the max. Mercury retrograde in Virgo is potentially overthinking, but it's a lot more practical based. So instead of like figuring stuff out and thinking of this or that or that, whatever, in an abstract level, it's more like, okay, here I am. What do I need to work on? What do I need to solve, etc. I've had a major breakthrough over the last 48 hours when it comes to music and just figuring out how to make the demos more efficiently, more fun. Like, just all in all, I'm so stoked. So that's really, I think, one of the best things at this time, and for all of us, that we can gain from in whatever particular thing that's been on our mind for, several, maybe, weeks or even months or however long, is to solve problems, solve practical problems. So turn the problem on its head. It's Mercury retrograde. Change your perspective. Maybe you can change the direction of how something is going. Maybe you can make it even better, and you can kind of fix problems that have been dogging you. That's what this energy is present for all of us. So I think in general, this weekend is very much about, if you're, it could go several different ways for people. I think, there's a very strong temptation on Saturday to just kind of like have fun, and that can be very good. Just get away from everything and then revisit it on Sunday. Or fix some problems, handle the issue, whatever that's on your mind, work hard at something first, and then go out and have fun on Saturday, and then on Sunday, again, there's so many different ways things can go, but I think in general, I would advise against escapism too much. That's the one thing I'm trying to get across here, is make sure you do the work necessary to solve problems. And then if you want to go out, cool, that's great. But again, if you are going in circles or something, then maybe you do need a break from it, and then you can revisit it. It's hard to speak generally. Everyone's going to be experiencing different things, but I think those are kind of the main general situations people will probably find themselves in. Right, there was something else about this weekend. The last thing I wanted to say was we're still in the very beginning of Sun in Libra. Whenever a transiting Sun energy is a cardinal energy, so Libra, Capricorn, Aries, and Cancer, it's the beginning of an entire season. Just like the fixed energy is kind of the heart of that season, and the mutable is kind of the resolution of that season, and it makes way for the next season. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're looking at fall. In the Southern Hemisphere, we're looking at spring. Either way, it's Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. We're in that particular energetic season. And again, we're just in the first 8 days of this, 90-day cycle? 30, 60, 90, yeah. So enjoy. We're still even in the first week of the Sun in Libra transit. So focus on your overall goals for this upcoming, over the course of this next week and a half as we go into the full moon. As well as looking at the big picture. Okay, what do I want to solve basically from here until December 2021? What do I want to build? There's a big emphasis on solving and thinking about things, puzzle solving works. Getting puzzle pieces together as per ideas, thoughts, understanding, information, communication, because Mars is in Gemini and Mars will be in Gemini for, again, until March 25th. So what do you want to solve? What do you want to learn? How do you want to grow? What information do you need? What information do you need to give as per interpersonal connections? Make sure everyone's on the same page, make sure people understand where you're coming from, etc., between here and December 20th. That is of very good importance, very crucial importance to think about that, because the more you think about that, the more you focus that energy, the more that you'll be able to learn more, communicate more, figure things out more, etc. Be patient with this time period. It can be difficult at times, but it's so important to be patient. Honestly, I think overall we're looking at, there's some tension for sure, but we have a grand trine in air energy. So I think for the next 3 weeks, especially the next 2 weeks with Venus also in Libra, we're looking at a pretty smooth social time where we're able to connect with people. Again, we have a lot of retrogrades, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, but Uranus, Neptune. But Mercury is coming out of the retrograde on Sunday. It'll still have the post-retrograde shadow period for, I can't remember the exact day, we'll get into that, about mid-October. But I think with later October, we're seeing a lot more movement forward as per being able to craft plans with people and to follow through with those plans to move forward, etc. So right now we're in more of a brain, tinkering in the brain and ideas and vision and, okay, what do I want to do? Who do I want to do it with, etc. The more communication, actually pairing up with people to get stuff done, is more so later October. When not only Sun and Venus are in Libra, but also Mercury is also in Libra and it's out of that retrograde shadow period. That being said, again, there's a lot of Venus, there's a lot of great social energy here with Sun and Venus. But yeah, it's a good time to kind of focus on what's already in your life, fix things, get it better, and rather than trying to jump into new things. Infinite love to you, my friends. As always, I'm doing readings. As always, I love to do readings. Info in the description to book a reading with me. And it doesn't matter if you have specific questions or vague questions or no questions. That's what I'm here for. Regardless of what you bring to the reading, as long as you're just open-minded and open-hearted, it's going to be a really good time. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. We can study other people in your life, love partners, parents, siblings, exes, friends, whatever, or who would be a good partner for you in the future. There's so much. I specialize in all of this. I've studied it for over a decade, so I really recommend coming and get a reading. Info in the description again to book a reading with me. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace.